everybody, and welcome back to the Goodell life. I hope everyone had a good week. I know the weather here has been absolutely cold and terrible, but finally the sun came out today, and of course I was stuck inside all day doing chores and different tests and stuff like that. So I figured, why not film a video about all the filing I have to go through. Filing's been something that I've always struggled with, and I guess struggled with Joe in a sense. We're both very different in how we organize things and how we process information. And for him, actually, when we met, and for many years almost until we moved here actually, so up until 2 years ago, his filing system was different colored boxes. You know, those big IKEA ones where you just snap the edges together. They're like $3. He had 2 of those, and if there was space in them, that's where the documents went. And one time we got audited, and it was an absolute nightmare. I had never realized how his organized system was before, I guess, or it never really mattered. But when we got audited for a company he used to own, and we had to find things from 7 years ago, it was really challenging. So since then, I've really tried to implement this filing and organization, I guess, procedure. That's not the right way. It sounds very formal. I guess just an organization system, that's what it's called. Yeah, so I've just tried to really make an organization system for us, for our documents and papers, where if he needs to find something, he can find it and hopefully put it back easily, and I can find it. And the other reason why I did this is if something were to happen and one of us wasn't there, or there was an emergency and we needed to leave town really quickly, it's really easy for us to grab these documents, and we're not going to be as panicked. I mean, losing your home in a fire or flood, that's absolutely devastating no matter what. But I've heard a lot of horror stories of people who lost their homes and then they lost really important insurance documents with it. And I just really don't want, well, the first one to happen, let alone the second one to also be something to be concerned about. And with the really big fires last year, it's something I've thought about a little bit more as well. So if this is something you're interested in and you want to see more organization tips, like this video. If you want to see more of, I guess, my face, subscribe, and if you don't find my voice annoying, that would be also great. So let's carry on. Okay, so the first thing I did is, originally I only had 2 of these, but we did have to purchase a third just because we do have so many documents after this many years. And when we bought our home, this apartment, we realized that there's a lot more documents you need than when you were renting. It's actually insane how many more, I guess, papers, trees. I know other people scan them, but I really like having physical copies, and working in a financial institution where we're also conjoined with an insurance division, I've really seen the importance of having physical copies of a lot of these things, so that I can give them to other people. But really, we should scan them so we always have a backup if something were to happen to these. So I have 3, oh, they're heavy. 3 of these totes. They're just from Walmart. Don't know. Can you read what that says? So they're file boxes, the slim portable ones. It says that you can lock them. Oh, there it is. It's like a little tiny hole that you can just lock it. You have to buy your own lock. I don't lock mine because I don't really have any reason to. Oh, see, I'm so warm. I'm wearing a tank top, but now my bra straps are falling down. Sorry, you guys. And I have 3 of these. I have one just for that was loud. I have one just for taxes. I have one just for the house. Well, I say house, but it's a condo. And then I have one for personal and miscellaneous. And so the first 2 are pretty self-explanatory. I have all of our tax information here. So in it I have a folder called last year's taxes, which I always kind of rotate. Taxes for next year, so if you have any receipts or anything that you need to save, like if you did any charitable donations, that's a good place to store them. I had mine in my emails this year, in Joe's emails, and it was a pain. I meant to print them off and I never did. And that's why I find this filing system is good if you use it, but online can also be challenging trying to sort through things. And then I also have previous year's taxes. So that's just like an amalgamation, I guess, of things that I don't really feel like sorting through, in all honesty, but I know that we need to keep. I then have a whole folder from all the times Joe got audited, which is more than anybody I've ever met in my life. Papers from when I got audited last year, which was pleasant as hell to go through. And then we have a whole ton of random things from his business and pay stubs, different things that you don't want to throw out quite yet, but you don't really need in the forefront. Yeah, oh, one time I went to H&R Block, and then I think I just have some school stuff. Oh no, these are his business expenses. So that's in the first one. We don't really use that one regularly. Like I said, it's taxes, so we'll pull it out once or twice a year. I don't actually even have a label on it because that's how rare we use it, but I really need to put a label on it because I always wonder what it is. My next big tote here is the one for house. That's what the label on it is, a house, home, condo. And in it I have our property house taxes, our insurance, our mortgage insurance, our contractor and renos. This is an important one. We bought new, so we did have to have some information from the contractors, and then we also installed a backsplash. But with it, there was actually a lot of damage to our unit when we moved in, and there was a lot of discrepancies that never got sorted. Some of them did. A couple weeks ago, we had somebody finally come fix our siding and the patio kind of around. That took 2 years to do, and this is the third time it was actually done, including the original installation, because I guess doing siding is rocket science. I don't know. But we keep getting the short end of that stick, I guess, for our unit. I then have a whole little pile of strata stuff. These are, I guess, what are these? Well, these are letters that have been mailed to us as like owners in the building. I also just happen to be on strata, so I have my whole other thing about that. I have a ginormous section, which actually takes up half of this entire box, about my appliances and their warranties, because Lord knows if something is gonna go, it's gonna be something I own. And then this behemoth, look how thick that is. It's like pretty thick. That's for the sale of our home. We have a pretty unique situation with our home. Actually, that's not even all of it. Here's title. Unique situation with our home where we were able to get into this really great opportunity to get into home ownership, and I think more places should do this. Basically, the United Church here in town purchased a plot of land about 10 years ago now, and they purchased it with the idea of turning it into affordable housing. It's a really great idea. They made these apartments, they contracted it out, and then if you provided 1% down, they would provide 10% down interest-free, with the stipulation that you made under a certain amount of money financially, I guess, as a household each year, that you qualified for the mortgage, and then that you didn't rent it out for the first 2 years you lived there. And when you sell the place, that you give them 10% of what you sell it for. So they're making a really great profit off each unit that sells. But for us, most importantly, we only had to put down like $1,200, and they put down $11,000 or something. Like, our place was pretty inexpensive compared to a lot of homes and where we live. But this was an amazing opportunity for us to get into home ownership, and honestly, I don't know if we would have been able to get in any other way, just because saving for a down payment, 5% is a lot of money, especially when the average home now, oh my gosh, our place has gone up like $30,000 or $40,000 since we purchased it. Like, it's insane. That's in 2 years. 2 years. So I I think it's a great thing and more communities should look at doing that. But that's why I also have a million documents, because there's technically 2 people registered on title and we have a lien against it, and there's a whole ton of documents to do with it. It's a very complicated mortgage deal, and few mortgage people in town would even touch it. So my last tote, my personal and miscellaneous, this one's a little bit nicer on the inside. Let's see if I can lift this up. So I have all these little colored folders, and I've got them labeled. So in personal, I've got cards, which is actually where I put, it sounds like gift cards or something, but it's actually just cards that I buy to give to people for different, oops, uh-oh, ripping things already. But what I was going to say is cards I purchase for different events. So this one is for, I think, Father's Day. Let's see. Oh, Dad's birthday. So yeah, Dad loves Disneyland, saw this card, bought it for him. Different things like that, promotions for when my friends get promotions, and if they get new jobs, birthdays, babies, you get the idea. I have a whole thing to do with my pension at work and different things about the union, because I am unionized. Random computer stuff, so I think that's just like if Joe bought parts. A whole thing about when I was in a mentoring program for human resources, which I don't work in HR, so you can see how well that went. Actually went really well. Just the community I live in only pays like entry level, but expects 5 years experience. You know how it is. Then I have a whole section called receipts. In there I have medical receipts, miscellaneous important receipts, Shaw/TELUS receipts. Under investments, I have a whole thing of our mutual funds, loans/investments. Okay. I also have things about our loans, critical life insurance policy, my student loans, general loans, and investments. Some of these are empty actually, so I guess I just made file names without putting things in them. And then I have a ginormous section called Kia, because our car is a Kia. And that's where I keep all of my loan information, but also all of my warranties and work. So one of the things for our warranty is that we have to always get things done at certain accredited places. And with a couple of accidents, none that have been my fault, thank you, we just want to keep track of all those documents and paperwork, so that if we go to sell the car or something happens, we can sell with that package of documents showing, look at all the work that has been done to it, look at the history of maintenance, and hopefully we'll get a better price with that. I know for other people, when they've been purchasing cars, or people in my life I should say, it's been actually something that's been really important to them, even buying it from a dealership. They've been able to get these binders with the entire history of the vehicle, and it's really nice for them just having that, I guess, safeguard. And really, you'll never know if they left something out. I just think it's a nice thing to do. So those are my 3 things. I'm going to have to add something in there about weddings, so I can add all my wedding contracts. As you might have heard in my other videos, we've booked a few vendors now, so the photographer, the wedding planner, the caterer, and the venue. Yes, those are the main ones we booked. It's already getting fuzzy, so that's a good sign. Year and a half out. And I think that keeping a filing system like this helps me. My biggest struggle though is that I don't pull it out all the time, and then I get this accumulation, of different things. I should take some of this out. Some of it's not actually filing. It's just a pile of paper that I just stack on top of each other until I have time to go through and do it like this. So sometimes that's more often than others, but in general it works for me. Let me know below what sort of organization systems you have for your documents, if this is something that could help you. I think each of these containers was like $6 to $9, so overall it's not that much when you look at some of the other things, so I thought it was also pretty frugal. Like I said before, if you like videos like this, hit that thumbs up, And if you want to see more, hit that subscribe button. Have a great week, you guys. See you later. I left my drink all the way across the room and it's gonna get warm, but I don't really want to get up and go get it. Okay, maybe I'll go get it.